How's it going, Patreon patrons? Here's a brand new method. This is going to be hopefully one of the best methods that we have on Patreon. I'm extremely excited to release this. Our sponsor level patrons actually have been testing this method for a little bit now, and everybody is pretty much a big fan of it, as far as I know. I'm actually a really big fan of it as well. I do this on one of my alts, and that's actually how I tested it, was by doing it on one of my alts. So the requirements are. Has some medium level requirements, I would say, but nothing ridiculous. You can definitely get these things unlocked, and you can definitely do this method, and I would highly recommend it, as it does bring in a lot of extra money. Okay, so what we have here, guys, is going to be a pretty crazy thing. You might be surprised. Hopefully, you are surprised. So what you're going to want to have is, you're going to want to have a staff that gives you unlimited fire runes. So I've got this right here, the mystical staff. You're also going to want to have something to disassemble. So I've got just the hair lantern tar for example here. If you guys have looked at our previous method involving the invention bank standing, by the way, you can totally do the invention bank standing method with this method. So if you have bank standers from that method, feel free to use those, and feel free to hang out near a bank. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then go look at the AFK invention method, and then that'll help you out as well. But I'm going to go ahead and disassemble hair lantern tars in this example, because hair lantern tars are pretty commonly they're a great item for lower level invention people to use if you're not going to be using gold bars for the bank standers. If you're a higher level invention, then gold bars are probably going to be more beneficial for you in the long run. But you can really use either one you want to. So I'll go ahead and go on and get explaining the method now, and then I'll have a couple more pointers on it in a second here. So. Alright, so first of all, what you're going to need is, you're going to have at least invention unlocked, which means you're going to have 80 divination, 80 crafting, and 80 smithing. Now, I understand for people who don't have those skills yet, those can be kind of a pain, but just unlock them. Believe me, it's well worth it. So the next thing you're going to have here is, you're going to have high alchemy unlocked. So you do have to have whatever level it is for high alchemy. It's level 55. There we go. You know what? It's been so long since I've unlocked it, I almost forgot. So you have to have 55 for high alchemy. You're also going to have to have level 10 or higher summoning in order to use this spirit spider pouch. There are other pouches that you can use, and I will mention them in a minute as soon as I actually show you the real example itself. But the spirit spider pouch has been kind of a favorite so far. So you can obviously use other options, but that's the one I'm currently going to be showing you. So what we're going to be doing here, guys, is going to be something like this. So what you can do is, you can take your, for example, your alchemy. You can take your alchemy or your disassembling, and you can keybind it. So I'd recommend doing that. I'm going to keep my mind to 1 here. So then when I hit the 1, it'll do my invention, and it will disassemble. And then I'm also going to keybind something else over here. I'm going to go ahead and keybind, let's see, I'm going to move this here, and that way I can keybind high alchemy to number 2. Alright, so I've got a high alchemy on number 2, and I've got my disassembling on number 1. It's fairly important to do your keybinds, because if you don't use the keybinds, it could be quite confusing. I'm actually going to go ahead and keybind one more thing as well, so I'm going to remove that. I'm going to take you can take your familiar options, so you can actually just click on the little wolf mask here. You can actually drag that if you didn't know that. You can drag that, so I'm going to drag it down to my 3. And you can set this bar up however you want to. I'm obviously, this is not the cleanest bar ever. What you want to do is, you want to check your select left click option here. Make sure it is set to special move. So when you hit number 3, it's going to show you special move. And then when you, so that's about it. I don't know where I was going with there, but just making sure you have the number 3 is going to be your special move. You need to have your spirit spider pouch summoned, so I'm going to go ahead and summon this. I was really hoping I had my summoning points. And then also make sure you have your egg spawn scrolls in your inventory. Egg spawn scrolls can sometimes be difficult to buy in the Grand Exchange. The spider pouches can also be sometimes difficult. So I would probably start to buy those a little bit before you're actually going to do the method, because they could take a little bit of time to buy. Remember that you can also go make your own scrolls by just taking the pouches to an obelisk and then turning them into the scrolls. That's probably going to be the most recommended method for getting enough of these egg spawn scrolls, as you'll see in a second here. We're going to be using quite a bit. So now we're going to go on to the actual method, guys, so I'm pretty excited to show you guys this. So as you know, if you hit your number 1, you'll be disassembling. So what you'll be doing is, you'll be getting these simple components. from these right here. So simple components, as you can see right there, and actually you get some variables from these as well. But what you actually get from your disassembling is going to greatly vary depending on what you're disassembling. But you can expect to make anywhere from 3 million to 5 million per hour by simply disassembling, which means you can use those to make divine charges. You can make siphons, you can make mechanized chinchampas, you can make pretty much anything that earns a profit. For more information on that, guys, just look into the Invention AFK guide, because I'm not going to go too far into that one because I've already kind of touched that. The one thing I would like to add, though, is one of our patrons did mention that using different types of energies instead of incandescent energies can also be cheaper to make your divine charges as well. So divine charges, they take 225 incandescents, but you can actually also use 550 lustrous, and lustrous currently are far cheaper than incandescents. Although at the same time, if you're doing this method hardcore, then you are going to have to remember that you're going to go through a lot of energies if you're doing lustrous. It's because you're going to use 550 in comparison to the 225 incandescents, which means you're going to have to be buying far more energies than the incandescents. With their 25,000 buy limit, you're going to want to be buying these energies kind of as you go. But anyway, here we go, guys. You can also ask more information as far as using energies and whatnot. And everybody is always coming out with new things. That was one of our sponsors that came out with that. And I'm very, very, very thankful for him to come up with that and make a small improvement here, because that would save you quite a bit of money if you use cheaper energies. All right, so guys, the next thing here is going to be how this method is actually different from the other one. So if we hit our number 2, we can high alch. And as you see right here, you just high alch. It really depends on what you're high alching. Will depend on how much money you make. We do have another money-making method that you can look at that is a high alchemy money-making method. If you're unaware of that one, go check that one out. But you can look at that one for ideas of what to high alch. So how does this actually work? So what you're going to do here, guys, you're going to pull your disassembling item over here so it's close by and start disassembling. In the middle of disassembling, or whenever you want to, you can high alch and then go right back to disassembling. There is no waiting in between the two. You can high alch and then disassemble. So you can quite literally, and every once in a while you'll mess up the timing. Basically what you're doing is you're using a 1 tick. So 1 game tick essentially is how this is going. So there, and then a game tick, and as you saw right there, I kind of stacked them up right perfectly. So disassembling goes on 2 game ticks. So what you're going to want to do is essentially slip this high alchemy in there in between the game ticks. So like that. And then go back to disassembling. I kind of screwed it up again there. And high alch, disassemble. Nope, I messed it up again. High alch, disassemble. There we go. So you'll get it. It takes a little bit of practice, but you will get it. Essentially, you can high alch and disassemble at the same time, and there's no break in between. It's literally 1 game tick, which is far faster than if you just sat there and did the high alchemy. So those two put together, guys, you're gonna be able to hit anywhere from 6 to 8 million per hour, possibly more if you guys find some really cool stuff to high alch, or if you're really patient on your buying. So what else? So 6 to 8 million, that's pretty cool, huh? Well, we got more. We got more. So if you hit number 3 while you're disassembling, as you see, it does not stop you from disassembling. So you can spam your spider scroll while disassembling, and it won't actually stop you from disassembling. So that right there, you can actually combine all 3. So you can do high alchemy, you can do disassembling like that, you can spam, you can literally do all 3 at the exact same time. So as you can see right there, guys, by doing all 3 at the exact same time, when we loot these spider eggs with area loot, as you can see with the area value being 23,000 gold, I literally just made 23,000 gold while also disassembling and high alchemy. You can very easily, very easily make 50 to 100,000 gold per minute by using the familiar options by just spamming the scrolls. Also, if you're using a really low level scroll such as this spider one, and then you are also using a fairly higher level account, then you will have plenty of the special bar in order to continue spamming it. If you look at your follower details over here, the special bar, as you can see right there, it just goes down by, I believe, 6. Yep, so it goes down by 6. Goes down by 6 again. We're going to loot the area. We're going to get back disassembling. We're going to high alch. We're going to disassemble some more. We're going to spam the area again. So as you can see, if you're using a higher level account, you've got plenty of energy bar, because I'm pretty sure that the energy bar goes like depending on your level. But then when you recover, you just keep on spamming. You can also bring some summoning restore flasks if you'd like to. And I'm not going to pick up that one. Oh, darn, darn, darn. But anyway, right there, guys, as you can see, in about 1 minute or so, you got I got 58,000 from just that, and I was not even doing it the entire time, obviously, and that also was not a full minute. But I got about 58,000 from these. You can throw these in your bank, so it would actually be a great idea to be somewhere near a bank. That way, you can just toss these right in. If you absolutely cannot be by a bank, then also remember that you can use magic note papers for these red spider eggs. There are other familiar options to use besides red spider eggs. So if you're like, well, I don't like red spider eggs or whatever, then you can also look at other options. Let's see, I don't remember what level they are actually, but you can use the Cobra wherever they are. Oh, I think I went too far. Spirit Cobra, there we are. So if you use a Spirit Cobra and use the ability for Spirit Cobra, you can make a bunch of money. You can also use Fruit Bats. You can use really whatever these you want to. And a really cool idea, guys, if you've got some extra money, like if you've got extra bank, and you're not in an extreme rush to make some money, there's a couple other options you can do with this method too. You can wear Silverhawk boots as well as the entire Nimble suit. Well, obviously aside from the boots, but you can wear the Nimble suit with the Silverhawk boots, and then you can get quite a bit of agility EXP at the same time. So if you really want to do this on the main, on your main account, and you want to get experience at the same time, then it's a great option to do because you will be able to essentially, well, not essentially, but I mean, you'll be able to pay for all the agility you would ever want to use. So you can essentially just go right to 200 million agility while making a ridiculous amount of money if you really felt like doing that. Another option too, guys, is you could do, let's see, livid farming. Livid farming is another option too. If you guys have livid farming as a requirement still, you have not got done with, you could use your red spider eggs. You can use magic note paper to note them. You can disassemble Haralander tar and high alk in the area for livid farming while doing the livid farm as the cycles come around. I was actually doing some cursed energies at the time, and this would work just fine for that as well. I was trying to think there's something else you can definitely do with this too. But there's quite a bit of options that you guys will be able to do with this. Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. So these red spider eggs go up during double experience time, and right now they're kind of like an all-time low as far as for recently. So if you were to actually save all of your red spider eggs all the way until double experience weekend, which I understand a lot of people couldn't do that. But if you really wanted to increase the amount of money that you're making per hour, then that's what you could do. You could actually just wait all the way until double experience weekend, then sell these red spider eggs, and you will get a lot more money than if you sold them now. So if you've got some time on your hands, you don't really care about waiting a little bit longer, then you can feel free to do that. All right, guys, that does conclude our method, and I will hopefully hear a lot of happy responses about this. But you can feel free to discuss this in the Billionaire Discord chat. You can also message me directly to ask me about any questions. And like always, please do not share this method, and I will see you guys in the next video.